Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of the DVO Show. I'm your host, Derek Van Otten. I'm here with Dillon Patterson this morning. How you doing?
Good, how are you, Derek?
I'm doing good. So you just told me you had a great little Saturday night. You just went to the Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle stand-up concert at Otten Amphitheater.
It was actually crazy packed too.
Oh really? Yeah, I can see that.
It was surprising. It was weird. One of the crazy things they did too in the show, I've never seen this before, but Dave Chappelle came up with this idea. He's like, I'm going to take everybody's phones and put them in a lockable pouch.
Oh.
So you walked in the door,
and
they're like, hey, you have a cell phone on? I was like, yeah. They're like, okay, let me see it. And they put it in a pouch, locked it, and they put like one of those shopping, the magnet tags.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Oh,
they
yeah.
Put one of those at the top. Then, okay, there's zones. If you need to use your phone, there's zones you can go to, but otherwise it's in this pouch for the
Whoa.
I was like, jeez.
Was it like a big pouch, a little pouch?
It was a little pouch, just snug enough, just snug enough for your phone.
Interesting. So you basically have to go to like a separate area. They have to unlock it.
Unlock your phone.
If you pull it out, you can text, call.
Yeah.
And then you have to put it back in and go back inside and watch the show.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What did you think about that? Yeah, I guess me kind of thinking.
I had two profound thoughts on it.
All right.
My first thought was like, man, I feel a little like this is like, it's not taken away from me, but I can't use it. And it felt kind of like, yeah, I don't,
okay.
But my second thought was like, man, if they're trying to like just get the crowd to interact. Now, the crowd was super interactive.
Good.
They were standing ovations when Joe Rogan went on stage, when he went off, and like they were very, very involved. Now, we also had pretty good seats, and I don't know if the environment, like, I don't know how much of that was my own perspective.
All right.
But it seemed to help.
All right. Because I'm engaged.
It was different.
I can kind of get it. I know Kevin Hart was here maybe a year ago. Mm-hmm. And they did the same thing where they had a ton of security, and if they saw your phone out, they kicked you out.
Oh, jeez.
They was like, you had to keep your phone in your pocket. So they didn't put it in a pouch, but they were like, you need to keep your phone in your pocket. If we see you pull out your phone, I mean, maybe if you held your phone down and texted, it wasn't a big deal. But if you pulled your phone up, like anywhere, like probably like the chest or higher, they had ushers all over, and they would pull you out and kick you out.
Jeez.
And I can kind of see it though, like, because so many people have their smartphones, they just are recording it.
Yeah.
And I know, like, these big names, they probably want to record for their specials. And if it gets put out there on YouTube, social media, like, people are kind of get the free glimpses of it already.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see that. Because, with a band or a concert, they play the same songs. Yeah. And you can hear it on the radio anytime. But this, I think, like, with stand-up, this is, like, new material. And, hey, we don't want it out there yet. Like, we're going to put out a special. That's just my perspective of it, though. So I can kind of see where they're coming from. It is a little intrusive, but...
Yeah, it caught me off guard.
Yeah, I can see that.
But if I knew going in, I think I would have been more open to the idea and the experience.
Right. Because it's like right when you got through the door. It's like you get there.
It's like tickets, phone. I'm like, okay.
That is interesting, though. That's interesting. But it was a good concert?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, performances were great. They had there was three other comedians, and it was a quality night. It was awesome.
And you took your dad.
I did. So
fun story with that one. Your dad's a big Joe Rogan fan.
Huge. Yeah, we got him tickets for his birthday. That's how it all came about. And Joe Rogan is probably one of his top influences and top like personas of all time.
Awesome. So it was kind of fun. I was able to help kind of do that a little bit. I was you had me go over to your parents' house and do a job with them, and it was at the very end. And I had them sign some paperwork, and at the very end, I said, "Oh, there's one more paper just for you." And as he looked over, he just kind of laughed, and it was a receipt for the tickets you bought for him, and so he was pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. He didn't even he had the reaction that when you were there, and then it didn't really like resonate with him until a little bit after. And he's like, "Wait, we're gonna go see Joe Rogan."
Yeah. That was awesome. Your family's fun. They seem really fun. So, I brought you on today, Dillon, because you are the owner of Alpha Lending.
I am.
And so you are well, actually, I'll let you describe it. What is Alpha Lending? What is it that you do?
I'm a mortgage broker. We help first-time buyers get into houses, help people who already own houses make it more affordable, and keep the process as fun as possible, too.
All right, that's awesome. Yeah, we've actually been referring people to each other, and so I love that networking kind of relationship. So that's kind of how we kind of met. We met together with a common client, and we just kind of built a little friendship and a little networking clientele exchange, and that's been kind of fun for me. So
it's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a fun. That was over. I think it was over a year ago.
It was over a year ago. Yeah. So we've been in communication for over a year, and so it's been a fun little relationship we've got going on. And so, how did you get into the mortgage industry?
Oh, so back when I was in high school.
All right.
It was the summer. I was being a lazy high school summer student, doing nothing, staying, sleeping in, and I got a phone call from a kind of a family-in-law. They're like, "Hey, like, you want to come do phone calls during the summer?" And I'm like, "I guess, like."
All right.
And so I would go through the summer, and I got handed basically a phone book.
All right.
And a piece of paper that was my script, and they're like, basically just see if anybody's interested in a loan. And I had no idea the words I was saying at the time.
Okay.
I'm like, what is a loan? What's a mortgage?
Yeah.
Like,
what's earnest money?
What's
like Ernest P. Worrell?
Yeah, and at that time it was only refinances on VA loans. So I was in a very niche market.
Actually, what year was this?
This would have been about 2010.
Okay, so it was after the crash. Okay.
After the crash, and then rates had started to. There was a point in 2011, 2012 where rates took a huge turn for the better for the consumer.
Yeah.
And it was right before that, and I got in just making these phone calls off the script, not knowing a thing. Nothing, because they don't teach anything about mortgages or how to get a mortgage in schools.
Exactly.
And so, no idea what I was doing. And I go through this while I'm there in high school, and then I graduate, and I was like, man, this is actually pretty interesting, and I enjoy it.
Right.
So there's a test you can take to become a loan officer.
Okay.
So once you're a loan officer, you're the one who basically you put your name on the application.
Yeah.
Before that, I was just checking interest levels. Like, hey, are you interested? Yes, no, okay, yes, and then I would say, hey, John Smith's interested. Give him a call.
Okay.
That's all I would do, and I would usually head to the office after hours, and I was there alone. I would get a list of names and pass it off.
Got it.
And after I graduated, I was like, "No, this is interesting to me. I want to take a test, and I want to be the person that takes that next step with the client.
I like that initiative.
I want to figure out what's going on here. What am I actually doing?"
Yeah.
So I studied and studied and studied, and took the test and failed.
Okay. How many questions is the test?
I believe it was. They've changed it a couple times because it used to be. I think it's 150.
Okay.
You have to get like 80% to pass.
Wow.
75.
All right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough test, and I failed.
Okay.
That sucks. And they have a waiting period. So the first time you fail, you have to wait 30 days.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the exact time frame if you have to wait if you fail it twice. It's like 60. It's like that. And if you fail it 3 times, you have to wait 6 months before you can take it again.
Interesting. All right.
So I study. I'm like, all right, one more time. No go.
Wow.
Company was also going through some changes at the time, and so I took 6 months off, basically, and went and sold cars.
Oh, okay. All right.
Little change of the pace.
Okay.
And so I went and did that.
Did you like that? Did you like that experience?
I I'm glad I did it.
All right. Okay.
I wouldn't go back.
You know Robert Kiyosaki?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he wrote his famous books are Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the Cash Flow Quadrant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I can't remember which one. It's actually one of those two books, and he mentioned, maybe it might have been Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but he mentioned if you were going to get into some type of service, all service is sales. Even if it's not like you're selling a product or necessarily a service, but any type of interaction with clients is a sales process. And he said, I truly believe in like doing something like going into car sales and learning skills, interaction, asking questions. So okay, I just thought of that as you mentioned that. So you did that during the 6 months in between tests.
Yeah, there's like a 6-month, 8-month hiatus, and then the company that I'd been working for, they posted a job posting for something, and I reached out and was like, hey, like I'd be interested, and the owner replied back and he's like, no, but would you want to be an LO? And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right, loan officer.
You're like,
right?
yeah, that's better. And so one of the funniest stories of my wife dating and I is when we were dating and I was like, yeah, I do car sales. I kid you not, and we were early on in our relationship, like we'd been talking for like, this was in like the first 2 weeks.
All right.
She's like, what do you really want to do for a career? I was like, I need to marry her.
I like that.
Ooh.
And then you told her, I want to be a loan officer.
I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And this was before, this was I was still pretty early on in the car sales portion too when I met her. And I was like, man, that was like I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
But that could have come off.
Yeah, I know exactly what you meant. Because I'm a little strong.
I was like, man, that was a little strong. And yeah.
Good job, Courtney.
Yeah. But so yeah, I was like, no, I'd love to do that. And so the opportunity arose, and she's like, yeah, we're doing that. And so
nice.
I'm a fan of the no plan B theory, or the burn the boats theory, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And if you're not familiar with that, it's a lot of the Vikings, when they were to go pillage an island or whatever, they would land their boats and then burn them.
They said, we're staying here, we're conquering this.
There's no plan B. We either conquer it or we don't, but there's no plan B.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we decided this plan, and like, okay, this has got to be it, I went and quit car sales that day, and there's no like 2-week notice in the car industry.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, I'm out. They're like, okay, cool. Shake your hands on the way out.
Right.
So I quit and studied, and it was my only goal. And
nice.
Now keep in mind, this was my 3rd test.
Yes.
So if I fail it, there's another 6 months that I'm...
Right.
So I'm like, okay, this is one and done.
Yeah.
Like,
do or die right here.
And passed it with like a 98%.
Dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you were like, I'm making this happen.
Like, I am making this happen.
Oh, that's awesome. It's very similar, because I have a lot of financial licenses, as the listeners know. And so on some of the insurance tests, it's right. It kind of changes, but I failed my fair share of failings. On the investment side, it's a lot harder of tests, and almost the same situation. You get one try. If you fail, I think you have 30 days between tests for the first 3. If you fail the 3rd test, then it's a 6-month gap to the 4th. And I failed twice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I really got to get this 3rd one because I don't want to wait 6 months. I really want to get my investment licenses. So, and I did get it. But I'm not going to lie, I squeaked by like each test. Like I think you need a 70% on every test I took. And I was always between like 70 and 73 for me to pass. But I said, hey, what do they call the doctor that got a passing score? A doctor, right? I'm like, hey, I don't. No one ever asked what he got on his test. They just say, hey, doctor. so that's funny. All right, that's awesome, bro. So you just said, hey, no plan B. I'm going for it. You just cracked the book and just went to town like hours at a time.
Did it, yeah.
So you started working on loans for companies, or?
Yeah, so it was one company in particular. It was the same one that I had started in the industry altogether with, and I went and was working for them and just having a blast, man. It was
nice.
It was pretty rewarding too because we were only doing VA loans. And
okay.
I ended up.
Those are for veterans.
So for veterans, and man, those are some of the most awesome people and stories that I've ever been able to hear.
Just because they can with veterans they can take no down payment on their houses.
True. Yes.
And if they are a disabled veteran, they actually get to skip a lot of taxes.
Yeah, the VA funding fee.
Mm-hmm.
Which can be upwards of about 3%.
Wow.
On transactions. So
nice.
The average house in each town, if you're $300,000, that's a $9,000 discount.
Wow.
That's pretty sweet.
Right. So those were like the most rewarding for you, like seeing those veterans get into homes and.
No, some of the stories.
Oh, the stories they would tell.
Some of the stories they would tell.
Okay.
Like, I have one of the clients I worked with was a bombardier from World War II.
Oh wow. And
there were so many times where I just 45-minute conversation, not about the loan, not about the transaction, just
non-business related, just yeah.
Like it was so cool.
That is awesome. The older I get, the more I do like picking the brains of like people who are much older than me.
Yeah.
And just kind of hearing things. It is very interesting. So that's awesome. So that you really like doing that and talking with them and.
I love being able to communicate, hear stories, and just learn about people.
Wow.
I love it.
That's good. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so what was the transition that you said, hey, you know what? Like I want to kind of do my own thing.
Yeah. So in 2017.
All right.
Towards the end of 2016, the first couple months in 2017. I looked at Courtney, looked at my wife, and said, I think the dream would be to do this on my own. Like,
I like that.
Open my own shop.
But where'd that come from? Where'd that stem from? Like, just one day, just the idea hit you?
I dream. Okay, I'm a dreamer. Like,
nice. I like it.
I'm the person who would be like, man, we could do this and this and this and this and this, and my wife looks at me like, okay. Yeah, honey, you're right.
Awesome.
But I could. But I also kind of have a one-track. I'm going to say one-track mind.
Okay.
In the sense that when I start down a hobby or something, I'm taking that track as far as the track's going to be paved.
Nice.
So, a couple examples of that are going to be. So after high school, I got into competitive bowling.
Wow.
Took that.
Did not hear that coming. Okay. All right.
Yeah. How many people on your podcast have bowled 300s?
Have you really?
Yeah.
How many times?
So I have 4 300s and 4 299s.
Dude, that's awesome. That is so awesome. How did it feel getting that 299
though? They're frustrating.
Did you get the 299 before you got your first 300?
No, I got a 300.
Oh, okay, all right. That would have been a lot more interesting to see your reaction.
Yeah, that would have been a lot. Yeah, I think you're right. That would have been a much bigger. Like, that's yeah.
When did you see it coming? You're bowling. What frame are you like? I'm hitting this.
Oh, you get the first the first one, the first strike. You're like, hey, it can still be a perfect game.
Yeah. Okay.
You get 6-7 frames in, so it takes 12 total.
Right.
And you get 6 or 7 in, you're like, man, something special's happening here. Like,
all right,
it's really good. And
that's awesome.
Up to that 10th frame. In that 10th frame, throwing those 3 strikes in the 10th frame, it is one of the most mentally difficult things I've ever had.
Oh, I can't imagine. Plus, I'm sure a lot of people are noticing it this time too. Like a lot of people are kind of surrounding you, like.
Oh yeah, no, and you're usually in league, right?
Yeah.
So there's a night where you're on a pair of lanes, and there's maybe 14 other teams there, and you hit the 10th frame. Nobody in the bowling alley is bowling.
Right.
It is just you.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's like. And it's difficult. You'll start to get a little bit higher up, and then people kind of don't care again.
Okay.
But because they have just as many. Like, it's like, yeah, that's nothing special. Like, do something cool for us, and then you know.
I find it cool.
But it's super neat, and I would still stop and watch because it's really, really neat. But no, yeah, you like, they're just higher up tournaments where it's more common, and so they don't stop their own rhythm or groove to like, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Where'd you get your first 300 at?
Jack and Jill's in American Fork.
Oh, okay, all right, awesome.
I think it was lane 4.
Wow, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome. all right, back to it. Sorry. I get it. That was exciting.
Anyways, so whatever I do, I take and I will just let that idea or hobby grow until
awesome.
It might be a lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
And so, so I was like, I came up with this idea to talk to the wife. And I was like, hey, I want to do this. And she's like, well, we need this first. We need this first. We need this first. And I'm like, no, I think we're closer. Like, I think I can make this happen before that. And so we had a couple discussions about it. And then they were making some changes and doing some things that
like in the industry?
At the company I was working
with. Oh, okay. Got it.
The company I was working with, they were making some changes and some alterations to their whole system.
Right.
We'll leave it at that. And I wasn't a fan of it.
All right.
And so I'm like, hey, they're doing this. they're making changes. And and she's like, okay.
Wow.
And so you have to take another test.
Oh, for the broker to become a broker. All right.
And being a broker also has some pretty steep requirements. So you have to have been licensed and writing loans for 3 years.
Okay.
You have to have a minimum loans completed within the 3 years.
Okay.
And those are the two like bigger ones.
That makes sense. All right.
So I had to make sure I met both of those, and I had started in June of 2016 or 2014.
Okay.
And so that was when I got my first license, and now we're in June of 2017.
Exactly. 3 years.
And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I went, took a test, passed.
Nice.
And I ended up being like 18 days short on getting my the full 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So I had a buddy who owns a mortgage broker. I was like, hey, I called him up. I was like, hey, I need to work for you for 18 days.
Wow.
I already have my test passed. Like, I just need to work for you for 18 days. He's like, you got it, man. Anything for you.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So help you out. That's awesome. And so 18 days comes, and then you said, well, I'm opening up a shop. Is that what you did?
So, that came, got the license, got everything, and at that point, I was like, okay, how do I run a business?
Okay.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I know what I'm doing as far as, like, I understand how a mortgage loan works.
Sure.
I got no, like, you know, the whole, like, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
You know, I tell everyone when I do, like, business coaching with people, I say, listen, whatever industry you're going into, let's just say the mortgage industry, for example.
Yeah.
I say you need to learn 3 things. Number 1, how the mortgage industry works. Number 2, how business works. You got to learn business. And number 3, you need to learn your field of business, so mortgage business.
Right.
So you need to learn 3 things. So okay, so perfect. So you're kind of saying what I say. So now you're like, okay, I know how mortgages work. I need to learn business now, right?
Right.
So what did you do? Did you Google it, find a mentor? Like, what did you do?
Oh no, I was like, so my concerns at the time were like, I have no idea what I'm doing running a business.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea how to get leads because at the company I was at before, I would just answer phone calls all day, right?
Oh, yeah.
He paid for mailers. They would come in.
Got it, yeah.
Do it. And then at the time I was very specialized in VA loans, so I was like, I just need to make sure I'm refreshed on other loan types because I'm not going to be primarily doing just VA loans anymore. So like, where do I start? I'm like, you know what? Let's put a plan together for what I want and how I want to run my business. I could try to follow a heavy marketing plan, send out lots of flyers, send out billboard ads, emails, Facebook marketing, whatever sort of avenue I wanted to go that way. If I wanted to do that, or how did I want to get my clientele? And I decided that I wanted to do a referral based business.
All right.
So I was like, okay, well, where do I get my referrals from? And so I got in touch with the state's real estate agent document, their licensing list.
Yeah.
And I just started texting newly licensed real estate agents like, hey man, congrats. Like, seriously, congrats. It's a tough test. I'd love to sit and chat with you about it.
All right.
See what your plans are in the future.
Yeah.
I'd take them, go get coffee, go to lunch, whatever it was. And we would sit down and meet and see if our expectations kind of met each other's expectations for the future and for what they were looking for a referral partner. And so that's how I wanted to get my kind of clientele list low.
All right.
Next step of that was to figure out, okay, what am I doing as far as the actual like loan process? Luckily, they have a lot of guidelines and they've published a lot of things that you read through. So
good.
Read through a lot of like 1-2 page PDF guidelines of just here's the qualifications or here's what you need to do this loan and this loan. And I'm proud to say now that after 2 years, I've done every single loan type: USDA, conventional, FHA, VA. I've got a sample of pretty much every loan type now under my belt. On my
nice.
That's been good.
So right now, today, generally, where is most of your clientele coming from right now?
Referrals.
It's referral based. That's the perfect way.
It is. I have not done 2 years in business, and I haven't done any marketing.
Dude, that's awesome. That's the way. That's awesome, man. That's the way. That means you're providing great service to your clients. That's the whole thing about referrals, right? You provide a great service, great experience, and they want to tell everyone about it. Just like when you go to a restaurant, a lot of referral base. You go to a movie, a lot of times it's referral base, because you hear people talking. You're like, man, I better check out that movie. So that's awesome. Now, you said you got licensed what year again?
So as a loan officer, 2014, as a broker, 2017.
Okay. And then you got into the industry like 2010-ish.
Correct.
So you're coming in after the crash.
Yes.
Right? And I was part of that crash, right? I got foreclosed on. People have heard my story. I got foreclosed on about 2010, around that. Okay. I think it was around that time. And then obviously a lot of new laws were put into place to help the client because of all the subprime mortgages. And great. That's all great stuff. But since then, since like 2010, maybe 2010 to today, we're looking at a high in mortgages. The mortgage industry has been great. So we've had great buyers markets, great sellers markets, interest rates do a little bit of the roller coasters, but nothing extreme, nothing bad. Everyone's been pretty good. I think foreclosures are probably way down because of all of the laws put in place. Now, there's going to be a time where there's going to be a crash again. And it might not be like, it won't be like 2008 to 2010. I'm pretty sure on that. It won't be like that. But whether it's going to be a high increase in interest rates or a high price increase, I always tell people you need to have the lows with the highs. I mean, obviously we all want our values of our home to go up. And because we all think that's a great asset that will appreciate and we can sell and make a return and things like that. But if it always goes up, then we can't afford houses. If the prices keep going up. So we have to have those times where it crashes a little bit. And maybe the word crash is pretty harsh. I don't mean crash. We have those dips, those roller coaster downward, so that people can feel like they can afford houses again and get into it again. So that the prices, like my house right now, I bought it at $215. I think it's like valued $300 right now.
Yeah.
And sure, I would love it valued at $600 one day. But then you start thinking the value for the size. You're like, oh, maybe it's, gosh, this is not California or New York. Geez, you know. And so we have to have those times where it goes down a little bit so people can get back into buying again. So I always tell people there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the housing market or when the stock market, they have those downturns. We need those downturns or else the prices are just too high and people won't be able to afford it anymore. Now, when those times happen, are you like mentally prepared? Like, okay, I know this is going to happen one day. I'm mentally ready. I'm mentally prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. So I get that question all the time. They're like, hey, you're the expert. I'm like, should I buy now or should I wait 2 months?
Dude, you have a crystal ball, bro?
Like, I've got the crystal ball. Here's the crystal ball.
Right.
I'll tell you what's inside of it. So if you draw a graph, just like you're talking about, and it's up and down, right?
Yeah.
And even pretend. Let's even pretend it's even the 2 month perfect up, perfect down.
Okay.
And they're like, well, the market's gonna bounce back in 2 months, right? I'm like, it may, probably will, right?
Right.
Even if it does. We're looking at a 2 month sample of history compared to, how long mortgages and an 80, 100-year window, right? If you look back over the course of however long you can of owning a house in the United States, it's never been a poor investment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always been a good investment.
Same with the stock market, exactly.
So I'm like, could you save an extra $2,000 in 2 months? Maybe.
Right.
But you also might just make it.
Exactly.
You might.
Yeah.
Like, the chances are probably about the same.
Yep.
And the risk versus reward, risk being not owning it, like just flat out owning the house is going to be, based on history, a good investment.
Oh yeah, 100%. I know some people might disagree with what I'm going to say, but I think the two best investments are probably in the stock market and in the housing market. That's just my opinion, but I do look at history, and like you're just saying, we look at history. We don't look at 6 month history or 1 year history. You're looking at 5 year, 10 year, 20 year, 30 year histories, and they both are good investments. They are good investments. So yeah, you're right. You're gonna see those up and down turns, but what is it steadily doing though? Going up, increasing, values increasing.
It's increasing.
Yeah.
And we just happened to see a little bit bigger and a little bit longer to recover from 2008. It took a minute. But we're back.
Oh yeah.
We're beyond that.
Oh yeah, and it's strong. So it's good. So yeah, real estate, the stock market, great thing. So you do purchases, people looking to buy homes.
Correct.
You do refinances. You do everything.
Investment homes, I do.
Investment homes.
Investment homes,
awesome.
yeah. So I'll do investment homes. I work with companies who even manage those. So we, set you up that way. Investment homes, refinances, cash out refinances.
Nice.
So it's got to be. I basically do anything that's the primary lien.
Yeah.
Meaning no second mortgages, HELOCs, home equity lines of credit, or I don't do any of those.
Okay.
Just the primary 30-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Basically.
I know some people, I see people getting like HELOCs, those home equity lines of credit, and they think, I'm going to write this off on my taxes. Nope, not anymore, guys. So just as a heads up. Careful,
really?
Yeah. Yeah, be careful on those HELOCs.
Heard that.
Yeah. Is there any like secrets people don't know maybe about, or any like secret gems that people don't know that maybe they should know, or you maybe you're stating something to clients and they're like, oh, I had no idea that you hear that come up a lot?
The biggest one is probably that you can write off if you buy down your rate, pay origination points or anything like that, you can write those off in taxes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, awesome.
Just and again, I'm not a CPA, so
right, me neither.
But I believe it looks the exact same as like the mortgage interest statement.
Okay.
And you can write that off, and so that's probably one of the like smaller actual tangible oh yeah, okay, cool.
Right.
Actual tangible tips.
Yeah, one tip people always ask me too, because I do dabble in taxes. I'm not a CPA though. And people ask me, like, what's some ways to leverage? And I say, you know what, if you started a business, a home-based business, even if you were doing like a multi-level company, doing a home-based business, if you section off a portion of your house that's purely business only, like you don't use it with a TV as a living room or anything. It's just this room is purely for my business, my home-based business. And you say, okay, this section of the house is like 5% of my entire house. Mm-hmm. You can write off then 5% of all your utility bills, your mortgage, things like that. So some people don't know that either. So I tell people, hey, start a little side gig, start a little side hustle, and there you go. There's some more leverage there too with your house.
What percent are you? What percent's your house?
For my house, it is 5%. That's why I say that. Yeah, I literally measured it out. I'm like, okay, because I know the square footage of my house, and I measured out. And probably it's actually maybe like 6 or 7.
Okay.
But I don't really trust the KGB. I mean the IRS. And so I do kind of downgrade it to 5%, and then I just easy number 2, solid number, and I'll just write off 5% of all my utilities, my internet, gas, electricity, all that stuff. So I write off a big portion of that. And I have my CPA handle all that for me. So I keep him busy with that stuff.
Yeah. We just finished filing for last year. I filed as an S corp.
Okay.
I'm not tax savvy. Uh-huh. He's like, hey, you saved a bunch of money by filing as an S corp this year. I was like, awesome.
Right, yeah.
Sweet.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So if people want to reach out to you and they're like, yeah, Dillon, like interest rates are dropped right now. Equities are really good in most people's homes right now, especially in the Salt Lake area or the surrounding areas. How can they get a hold of you?
A couple different ways. So my website,
okay.
myalphalending.com.
All right.
My email, Dillon@myalphalending.com.
Nice.
And I provide my cell phone number to everybody.
Awesome.
Which is 801-558-0238.
Awesome. I'll put that all in the description for everyone to get a hold of.
Perfect. And feel free to text me too. If you have questions, hey, heard you from Derek's podcast, feel free to text.
All right.
I'll answer questions through text.
All right. Awesome.
Easy.
That's awesome. I actually am going through the process with you right now. I got onto your website yesterday. Simple, man. Simple process. Put in my information, put my wife's information in, put in our current, because we're going to refinance. I want to get rid of my PMI especially. And as we were talking, you were just kind of giving me tips. Hey, interest rates are the same between this long term. You're going to broker out, so you're not captive. You're going to shop around multiple places for me, find the best interest rates for me. Did it on the website, real simple to do. And if people don't know what PMI is, that means private mortgage insurance. If you are above 80% loan to value, you have to pay that to the mortgage company. So they're just so everyone knows, when you're buying things like mortgage or insurance or things like that, there's risk involved, right? The mortgage company's lending you $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. The insurance company is saying, hey, we're going to take that risk that if you die tomorrow, you get sick tomorrow, we're going to be paying all this on your bills, or we're paying out this face amount. So everything's risk related. That's why they do credit checks and things like that. But anyway, mortgage insurance. So if your house is valued at $250,000 and you get a loan for $250,000, that's 100% loan to value, and that means you're above 80%. So you have to pay a PMI mortgage insurance to the mortgage company in case you default on payments, and then that kind of covers it. Well, I think it's a waste of money. Most people do.
Oh yeah, it's not insurance for you.
No, it's for the mortgage company.
It's insurance against you.
Yes.
In case you.
So when I got foreclosed on in 2010, the mortgage I had was a interest only. I knew what I was doing. I knew I was getting interest only. I knew what I was doing. And anyway, I wanted to do a modification loan. And you don't see these much anymore because now the laws and regulations, you don't have to worry about that. Thank God. Because subprime was a disaster. Anyway, I was at over 80% loan to value, so I was paying mortgage insurance. I got foreclosed on. I was only behind like 2 or 3 months, bro. 2 or 3 months, and I know people that were behind like a year still living in their house, not making payments for a year. within 2 months, I had a letter on my door saying your house is going up for auction, and then within 30 days, I had to get out. Anyway, they had to settle with me because I'm paying PMI,
right?
And I still got foreclosed on. So if you guys got PMI, especially reach out to Dillon, because that is a huge waste of money. If you are under 80% loan to value LTV, call Dillon. Let him help you get out of that. Make sure your fees are worth it. Most likely they will be, because it is such a huge waste of money. Anyway, just a little tip I want to throw in there because of I hate PMI. So
I wish I could just get rid of all of it and make it all go away. But yeah, that's when people ask like, what is it for? Like the best and easiest explanation I'll come up is it's not insurance for you.
Yeah.
It is not for you.
Right. One thing I do like that I'm noticing is that you can, some places, they'll automatically drop it off at a certain point. It
depends on the loan type. Yes.
Yeah, depending on the loan type, depending on the amortization that gets pulled through. But during the amortization, when it notices you are below 80%, it will drop off. You probably can help people with that too, like kind of talk to them about how that works. So yeah, if you guys want to know about that too, talk to Dillon. And he'll be able to help you out with that too, because I really am against it, and I really want you guys to know what you have. And if you need help reading a mortgage, you can contact me or Dillon. We can read a mortgage inside and out, and we can help you understand where you're at. And you can probably help them decide, find out too if they're. You can probably look at the value and find out they're below that too to get rid of it. Yeah, I really want you guys to not have it. Okay, if you have it, I really want you guys not to have it. Dillon, anything else you want to say to mention while we're closing out here to anyone out there listening or watching?
Oh, I want to say congrats to you, man. We haven't talked. Kayliana?
Yes, our baby was just born.
Congrats.
Thank you. It's been just over a week and a half at the time of this recording.
That's exciting.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, in fact, you sent me a referral, and I had to change on them because it was the day after, and I had to call her up, and you helped them get into the house. And by the way, she gave you such high praise. Oh. She was saying without you, they probably wouldn't have got into that house. So I'm not gonna say their name, but you know who I'm talking about. And she just was like, hey, she basically told me, hey, we make too much money to be paycheck to paycheck. Derek, I need your. And they told you we need some help, and you sent them over my way to help. So I appreciate that. But anyway, my appointment with them was the day after the birth of our baby, and I called her and said, is it okay if we reschedule? I'm kind of still in the hospital. My baby decided to come a little early, like 2.5 weeks early. And so she said, yes, take your time with your baby. Call me up. So we're getting together later this week. So,
awesome.
But yes, thank you so much. Yeah, we're super excited. And I'm a little tired this morning because I was up till almost 3 a.m. with her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it though. I wouldn't change it. How about you and Courtney? You guys in the talks?
We're in the talks.
I love it.
We're in the talks.
And speaking of Courtney, your wife, you mentioned her, and we're going to talk about it right now. And she's kind of helping you out because she works for a title company.
Just.
And so that really works out. You guys are able to kind of tag team it up. And I'm glad I can get thrown in the mix once in a while to help you guys out and help you guys get your closings done.
It's a really good system, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a national closing manager for a title company, and
yeah.
And she's managing, 1,000 plus closings a month.
I walked in one day just to go say hi and drop off some things, and they're in this conference room, and there's just mountains of paperwork. All right, we got to work with the state on somehow to get this minimized. The paperwork's ridiculous, but hey, it is what it is, right? We got to talk to Congress about that, maybe. Hey, let's do everything electronic, and then have someone come in and just verify and done. But hopefully one day. That's maybe the future of mortgage lending. But thank you so much. Yeah, she's healthy. Mom's healthy, and awesome. We're excited to have her here.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
You guys.
Thank you. Dillon, thanks again for coming in and listening. I'm going to list all your information in the description so you guys will see it there where you can get a hold of Dillon, his cell phone, his website, his email. I'll list it all. You guys can get a hold of him, and he'll be able to help you guys out. So thanks again for watching or listening to another episode of the DVO Show with Dillon, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take care.